Hi and welcome to this week's video. My name is Natalia Munoz and I'm an occupational therapy student. And this week we're going to talk about the movie Graduating Peter. He is an 18-year-old boy diagnosed with Down syndrome, and the documentary or the movie is based on all the things that happened while he was in school and everything that the parents had to do. The mom was always trying to push to get him to do his best at school. And to me it was very interesting, like, the mom wanted him to be independent. The mom was always pushing for him to be able to do everything by himself. She was aware of his limitations and aware of what he could do, but at the same time she knew that he could do more. So she was never laid back in the sense of like, okay, if the teachers and the aides are going to help him get to from one room to the other, I'm okay with that. She was always very outspoken and advocating for him, saying, no, he can do it and I want him to do it. I want him to learn to be on time. I want him to learn to be able to complete his responsibilities. And Peter had a lot of behavioral outbursts throughout school years, and he was always smiling, but he was doing the wrong thing. And I feel that that was more a way of him getting the attention for something that he couldn't express. Maybe he wasn't interested in the topic they were doing in class, and then he just wanted to walk away, so the aide had to bring him back. He had a social communication disability. He couldn't verbalize his feelings, and that to me was what caused all his behavioral outbursts in a way. And it, for him to not be able to communicate, was kind of like frustrating for him. And I feel like that was something that he could have been helped with, maybe with an adaptive equipment. At that time, I don't know if it was available, but today, if you have a patient that has this situation, maybe you can use an AAC device so that he can learn how to express and communicate himself with others. During the movie, there was a little blurb about the law 94-142, which is a public law, and it was passed on 1975, and it's the Education for All Handicapped Children Act. And what this law provides is that every child, no matter their disability, are entitled to receive free education in the public school system. And the purpose of this law is to provide the educational facility, and the teachers can teach the child, but they also work on those special needs, and they also work on related services. For instance, they provide OT, PT, speech within the school system. As they grow older, they can also receive vocational training, so that, for instance, Peter, mom wanted him to be able to work after high school. So he was always exposed to that possibility to be able to identify a job opportunity within the school. They would try it to see if that's something that he would like, and he would be able to complete. And this is what the public law 94-142 is about. Now, what are the psychosocial issues that I saw in Peter? Aside from having Down syndrome, he was also diagnosed with depression. And when they were trying to medicate him to control the symptoms for depression, what happened was that he became more compulsive, more aggressive, and mom was concerned about that. So his aggression, his inability to control his behavior, caused him to behave inappropriately in school, and that created isolation. Then now he couldn't talk, he didn't know how to talk with others, and he was also faced with not being able to know how to behave with his peers. So we had depression, we had isolation, low self-esteem, because he wanted to do something but he didn't know how. So that also causes another psychosocial issue. Now, as an OTR, what are some of the strategies that I would implement? Well, trying to help him engage in leisure activities that he likes. I noticed that he liked to walk a lot around the grass, maybe exploring participating in a youth program that can help him socialize with other children, connect with nature. A lot of times these children benefit from being outdoors and, you know, learning how to promote self-soothing activities, self-relaxation. The alert program is one program that I think it's very, very beneficial. It helps the client identify when they are at a high state of level of arousal or a low state, and then identify what activities can they incorporate so that they can help come to a, you know, like a medium area. Maybe using social stories or video modeling where he can listen how another child would behave. There was actually a teacher that told Peter was eating paper, and the teacher said, you know, 6th graders don't eat paper. And that kind of like clicked on him. So he took the paper out of his mouth and he put it in the garbage. A lot of times modeling behaviors from other children, which is why it's so important to do that inclusive approach for these children in the school system. They get to see those behaviors, how a 6th grader would behave. Oh, okay, maybe I should be doing that as well. And that promotes better participation in social skills too. What are some resources that I would recommend to the parents? Miami-Dade has the parent-to-parent organization, and this is an association that I think it's very important for all the parents because it's a support system. Parents that have been in that journey will be able to facilitate a new parent in that journey. They know what are the resources that you need to reach out. They know where to call. They know what to do. And if you're having a hard time, you're not talking to a doctor. You're not talking to a specialist. You're talking to another parent that is going through the same experiences or as similar as you are. And I feel that promotes a lot of, okay, I can trust what you're saying because you've been in my shoes before. Then is the National Down Syndrome Organization that also provides a lot of resources for parents, like Peter's parents, that they might need more resources once he starts aging out of school. Now, the problem is that as he ages out of school, now he's an adult. And then now one of the things that mom said during the video was that SSI and Medicaid, she couldn't understand. Parent to Parent is a great organization that can help you facilitate that process and guide you as to what to do first and where to go and who to call. He will need to start using other resources for the adult population with Down syndrome. And, you know, I tried looking for like other programs or organizations for adults with Down syndrome or in general for adults with disabilities. And it's kind of hard to find them. You really need to look and ask questions. I tried to look online and a lot of the websites were not working. There was a list provided by miamidade.gov, but none of the links were working. So for me as a student, it's frustrating because I'm doing this research for school. Imagine for a parent having to deal with every life activities, dealing with a child with disabilities, and now trying to find a resource for the child that is aging out of the school system and not being able to find anything. So I actually found that the Down Syndrome Association of Miami, they provide resources for families that are at that age where the child with Down syndrome is already aging out, and they show resources that you can call. There is adult daycares. A lot of these adult daycares are covered by insurances, by Medicaid, the Medicaid waiver, or depending on the family's income, they will also charge a very low fee. Some of them I saw that were $10, maybe $20 a week. The adult daycare centers are great because they provide social participation. They also work on life skills. They work on activities that the clients like to engage, and it keeps them engaged. It keeps them in that always constant communication with other people. I also found the Best Buddies program, and it's volunteers, and then they partner up with an individual with Down syndrome, and they work on from ages middle school all the way to college, and they support employment opportunities. They have local and other state organizations that can help families with individuals with Down syndrome. So it was a very emotional movie for me, because you see a child with Down syndrome, and you want the best for them. You have to accommodate to what they can do at that moment. And then at the end of the movie, to see how Peter graduated, he was part of the soccer team, he had friends, and every age had its challenges. I think for him the hardest was when he was in middle school, because other children don't really understand why is he different, why is he not behaving like I am. So it's harder for them. Once he got to high school, all his school peers are at an age that they understand, and they helped him more. They weren't scared or afraid of talking to him. And I feel that at that age, that's when Peter was able to open up more socially, be able to have a friend. He went to prom, he graduated, and it was great. It was a very touching movie. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and thank you for watching.